I'm going to take you through the procedure of completing the square in the general form of a quadratic equation ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. What we want to start off with is having the x square term just on its own, not multiplied by a, so we're going to divide by a every single term of the equation. We obtain here b over a x, in this term c divided by a, and 0 divided by a is 0. Then, what we're going to try to use is this expression here. This part here is all good, but it doesn't fit together with this part. You will see that later. So, what we're going to do is we're going to subtract from both sides c over a, so that we have this standing on its own. Now comes the most important step, called completing the square. X takes the place of p. Here we have 2pq. So b over a must be the 2q part. You'll understand that a little bit later in a moment. So b over a, let's take that here and divide by 2. Simplified, that gives b over 2a. Stop the video here to think about why this is. And so what we're going to do is, on both sides, we're going to be adding something. That's the completing the square bit. We will take b over 2a and square that. That corresponds to this part here. And so I'm going to add this to both sides. So let's add to both sides b over 2a squared. On the left-hand side, I am now able to factorize. And it's going to give me this. Now, to understand what we've done, what you should do now is pause the video and take the time to expand this expression and verify that we get this. Do that now. On the left-hand side, we can do a bit of manipulation. We'll leave this and we'll expand the brackets here. I square every little thing. 2 squared is 4 and a squared is a squared. And what we'll do on the right hand side, we'll clean this up a little bit. We have 2 fractions. We'll write them with the same denominator. And I'll expand the numerator here. There's a minus here in front. That will become minus 4ac. And now I can add these two together to get b squared minus 4ac over 4a squared. You'll notice I have just inverted these two because there's a minus here that's positive, so I can take it in front, and the common denominator is 4a squared. Notice that I have x in a bracket here and no x absolutely here. What I can do now is take the square root on both sides. The square root of a square is simply what's in the brackets. And on the other side, I will put a big square root sign over everything. One thing not to forget is as soon as I take the square root, you need to have the reflex of putting a plus minus here. Okay, because I can have both a negative or a positive answer. Next step, I want to solve for x. So I subtract b over 2a, this fraction here. So I get x equals. Let's copy out the square root. And also, we now have here minus b over 2a. What we can do is we can take the square root of the numerator. There's not much, denominator, sorry. There's not much we can do in the numerator because there's a subtraction. So, I'll write the following. That's underneath the square root, and the square root of 4a squared is 2a. And here I also have b over 2a. Notice that I've got the same denominator. So I can rewrite it all on one line, on one fraction. And what I'll do is I'll take that negative b, write it first, and then plus minus square root of b squared minus 4ac. All of that under the square root. Let's copy out the x here, and let's copy out the x here, and I'm done. I have solved my equation for x. You will of course recognize this expression as the formula, the quadratic formula, okay? But we have solved it using the procedure of completing the square.